Welcome for this session on trend lines and entry criteria. So, if you find this useful, don't forget to uh, subscribe to this channel and also give it a thumbs up. In this video, we're going to discuss how you can decide what are the entry criterias based on the trend lines and simple concepts like EMAs. So, this is Paresh Desai from Sankalp Venture, and let us start with the session. Coming to this part of the trend lines, okay, जब भी मैं trend lines की बात कर रहा हूँ, so trend line is something which you'll find that there are 4 types of trend lines, right? 4 types. Why? Because there will be 2 trend lines which are support trend lines and 2 which are resistance trend line. तो अगर मैं यहाँ से यहाँ एक trend line draw करूँ, let's say this is HDFC, and if I draw a trend line like this, okay, so this trend line is a support trend line. Okay, this is like a support trend line, and which is an upward sloping support trend line. ठीक है, तो ये upward sloping support trend line है. Okay, so this is a support trend line. Now the one which I'm drawing here, this would be a resistance trend line. Okay, तो दोनों upward sloping lines है, एक support है, एक resistance है. Okay, so where to use which one? I'll be revising again that. All of you know it, but still, just to revise the concepts on trend lines, we'll be taking that. So ये दोनों क्या हो रहा है? You're getting here is something which is called as a support trend line and resistance trend line, both which are upward sloping. तो resistance trend line को मैं red color कर देता हूँ, और support trend line को let me mark it as dark green. Okay, so this is a support, this is resistance. Now when we come to the other type of trend lines, okay, the other 2 types of trend lines. So those other 2 type trend lines would be again similar one. So what I'm drawing here, ये जो मैं यहाँ draw कर रहा हूँ, this is a downward sloping resistance trend line. So resistance trend line कहाँ से आ गया? If I'm joining 2 resistance points, okay, ये एक resistance point है, ये एक resistance point है, तो ये 2 resistance point मैं join करता हूँ, तो this is a downward sloping resistance trend line. और इसका मतलब ये होता है कि अगर the price is below this trend line, that means till that time the trend is down. Okay, now can I also draw a downward sloping support trend line? Yes. So let us see downward sloping support trend line कहाँ से draw कर सकते हैं. So if I'm taking on the same type, if I'm taking something like this, okay, so this would be a downward sloping support trend line. Why support trend line? Because ये support trend line, it is joining the 2 supports. Okay, तो 2 supports कौन से हैं यहाँ पर? The one over here and one over here. तो ये the moment I'm drawing these 2, I'm taking 2 supports and I draw a trend line. So this is a support trend line, let me keep it in green, and this is a resistance trend line, so let us take it in red. Okay, so I hope you understood and revise with the 4 types of trend lines. So 2 upward sloping and 2 downward sloping, okay, 1 each resistance and support. Now out of these, not all the trend lines every time is useful. Okay, सबसे ज़्यादा use जो होगा would be the one which is this one, which is a downward sloping trend line, and the other one would be one which you had taken, which was a upward sloping support trend line. Okay, तो ये अगर support trend line है, this is used more frequently, this one and the other one which is downward sloping resistance trend line. ये दोनों सबसे ज़्यादा use होते हैं. Okay, just a second. Okay, so trend lines is very important because trend is your best friend when it comes to technical analysis. So technical analysis में जब तक trend आपके साथ में है, you are sort of safe in terms of your investments, in terms of your decisions. Okay, जिस दिन trend reverse हो जाता है, जैसे Tata Motors. Okay, so Tata Motors में the one which I'll draw here. So if we see on Tata Motors, till the time the price was going up, जब तक price ऊपर जा रही थी कोई problem नहीं था. Okay, for example over here, till 2016, 2015 तक, what we would find is that the trend of Tata Motors was up. यहाँ से यहाँ तक, every time the price is to come to at a support and go up, take a support, go up, take a support, go up. Okay, तो जब तक ऐसा चल रहा है, where the price is taking support on the support trend line. Okay, जब तक support trend line price is taking support on the support trend line, तब तक things are okay. The day it does not take support, okay, this is called as a breakdown. So breakdown would be where the price closes below a support trend line. I hope you're those of you who want to revise or you want to like consolidate, you can also take your notes. Okay, तो ये क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पर? This is a trend line breakdown. Okay, so till the time the price is within that range, within that trend, things are okay, right? Things are fine. But the day there is a breakdown, जब भी breakdown होगा, that is a time when you have to be careful. See, someone is entered here at 268, the price went to like 600 also, you know, almost double भी हो गया था. And then from there onwards, what happened was the price started falling. So अगर ऐसा दिखता है, तो obviously it would be a good time to exit from that stock, right? One of the things which I always say is don't be emotionally attached with any stock. So Tata Motors जैसा stock है, so people would get emotionally attached with certain stocks. Oh, Tata Motors, such a big name. How can I sell the stock? Okay. So, but अगर आपको technicals बेचने के लिए बोल रहे तो then you should be selling. Okay. So today I'm not taking any exit criterias. I'll be taking mainly the entry criterias. So let us see what are the entry criterias. So I hope you're clear with the trend lines. If you are clear with the trend line, just type all clear, AC. If you're clear, just type all clear with the trend lines. These are the four types of trend lines. Those trend lines which are sloping up. One is a support trend line, one is a resistance trend line. Okay, and the one which I've shown you here, downward sloping, one is a resistance trend line, another is a support trend line. So we're going to see what are the criteria for entry. Entry के लिए क्या criteria होना चाहिए? Okay, तो सबसे पहले अगर you have to first of all decide who you are. Okay, तो वो सबसे important चीज है कि आप कौन हो पहले decide करो कि आपका purpose क्या है, long term investing है कि positional है या आपको intraday trade करना है. So अगर for intraday trades it does not matter so much what is happening on the higher time frames. Okay, क्योंकि आपका time frame होगा 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour का. So daily, weekly, monthly में क्या चल रहा है, it may not be directly affecting it. Okay, but if you are going for, let us say, long-term investment, if you're going for positional trades, then it is better that you first understand who you are और आपको क्या करना है. Okay, so once you understand that yes, probably I want to go for long-term investing, तो सबसे पहले आपको क्या करना है, you have to go on the monthly time frame and go for the line chart. तो अगर आपको long-term investing है, then you'll have to go over here on monthly और line chart देखो कि line charts पे क्या दिख रहा है. Now, if you find this HDFC bank, okay, Reliance का example देखते हैं बाद में. So if you see the HDFC bank, the trend was up, right? और अगर मैं ये दूर का मैं, let's see if I'm taking this trend line also, there was sort of like a dip because of that COVID scenario. And now again the price is back inside this. Okay, so that means this is a long term which is a good stock for HDFC Bank. Anyway, काफी बार क्या होता है कि sometimes there is like a fall in between, बीच में मान लो कोई bad patch हो रहा है, so that you have to ignore. जैसे Tata Motors was going through a very rough patch from 2016 to 2020, right, where the price came down from 600 rupees to almost 68. So can you imagine a stock like Tata Motors, other 90% of the value can be eroded within 4 to 5 years, then anything can happen with other stocks also. Only thing what you need to understand is कि अभी जब भी आप इन्वेस्ट करते हो, the time when you are entering, how is the trend? Okay, so Tata Motors, we have seen that from 2015, 16 to up to here. Okay, यहाँ से यहाँ अगर देखते हो तो there was a downtrend. So obviously there was no point in entering over here, right? But once the trend changed, right, and then there was a trend line breakout. So this would be one of the things which you have to see while entering. Okay, so दो types की आपकी entries हो सकती है. एक entry हो सकता है where the stock is already in a momentum. Okay, so something like say Reliance or something like Infosys. Okay, so Reliance or Infosys अगर देखेंगे तो ये already the trend is in an uptrend since last so many years. ठीक है, so अगर already uptrend में है तो what you can understand is yes that this stock is already in uptrend, this would be a better deal, but you have to understand कि इसके लिए थोड़ा prices आपको थोड़ा higher prices भी लग सकता है. Why? Because already the price is in uptrend. So one is selecting a stock which is already in uptrend. Another would be a stock which was in a downtrend for many years. ऐसा हो सकता है if the sector itself is down for a long time. काफी टाइम से मान लो सेक्टर ही अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहा है. And auto sector you find that from 2016 to 2020 was a worst period. It was going through a recessionary period in the automobile sector. And obviously the individual companies also were reflecting the same trend. ठीक है, तो अगर यहाँ से यहाँ प्राइस अगर आ रही है, okay, if the on the long term the price was coming down, then you have to wait till the trend changes. Okay, so two type of stocks you have to select. One is which is already in an uptrend, number one. Second would be कि एक बहुत अच्छा correction हो गया है and now the price is going up. Okay, there's many penny stocks also you'll find, something like probably Jain Irrigation, then coffee day. Okay, and then there could be other sugar stocks also. So अगर Jain Irrigation का stock अगर देखेंगे तो it's one of still a penny stock only. So from year to year there was like a downtrend. और उसके बाद में when the price is going up, but it is not still moving the way it should be moving. Okay, why? Because I'm on a monthly time frame. और monthly time frame पे can you see 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 महीने जो प्राइस थी, 6 महीने पहले जो प्राइस थी, अभी भी यही पर है. So if you find that the price is sideways on a monthly, then wait for the breakout before a entry. Okay, so you could get a stock which is a lower price, but don't get stuck in the चक्की. ये sideways pattern में इसको मैं चक्की बोलता हूँ. Okay, जैसे चक्की में अगर आप दाल चावल कुछ भी डालोगे तो वो पिस जाती है, तो वैसी ये sideways movement है ना, वो आपके लिए चक्की है. So चक्की में फिर अगर फंस गए तो फिर then you never know that when you are going to get out of it. Okay, so you need to have a lot of patience. Your time will be wasted. So rather than that, go on the highest time frame and see what is happening. So जब भी whenever there is a breakout, only then you enter for that, and then breakout sustains. Okay, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि breakout हुआ लेकिन price again comes down. In that case, you can again probably exit, probably with a small stop. With a small stop loss. जैसे यहाँ पर देखते हो ये steep trend line था, breakout हुआ, but then what happened? The breakout did not sustain. The price came inside. So अगर price वापस अंदर आती है, then that would be a better time to exit and then move into better stocks than this one. Okay, so again, so this would be a stock which is down for a very long time. जैसे इसका all time high अगर देखने जाएंगे तो all time high was something like it was what 114 का all time high था, और ये कभी का 2011 से. And here there was like a double top, and from after double top there was a resistance and the price coming down all the way to 3 rupees. यानी 100 रुपए का स्टॉक 3 रुपया हो गया. Okay, so 97% fall in the value. Okay, so all these patterns which you have seen, double top, you have to be careful and understand that these actually work. Correct? So double top, we had seen a similar double top in Tata Motors also. जैसे 600 के लेवल पे डबल टॉप होके बाद में then from all the way up to 68 rupees the stock had gone. Okay, so one criteria, I'll repeat again, see whether the first is selection, how the stock is on the long term. So either it is already in the momentum, yeah, it has come down and then it has given you like a turnaround. So turnaround जब भी होगा तभी आपको ये this price you have to ignore and then look at this. Okay, so there has to be an uptrend from here at the now. ठीक है, so that is a stock selection criteria. Then second criteria would be जब भी आप देखोगे कि यहाँ पर whenever the price is giving a breakout, okay, enter only when there is a breakout, don't enter before that. So now there will be two types of breakouts. One breakout would be where the price one entry would be where the price has broken out of this. Okay, ये इसमें से जब ये breakout होगा तभी आपको enter करना है, right? So that will be first criteria. Now let us go and see if we are able to see on the daily time frame how does it look. ठीक है, तो कोई भी ट्रेंड लाइन याद रखो कि अगर आप हायर टाइम फ्रेम्स पे ड्रॉ करते हो तो you'll be able to see it on the lower time frames. So we'll come to the trend line concept again. जो ट्रेंड लाइंस का हायर टाइम फ्रेम्स पे अगर आपने ड्रॉ किया है, जैसे मंथली में मैंने यहाँ पे ये ड्रॉ किया हुआ है. So whenever I'm drawing anything on monthly, it is going to show on weekly and also it is going to show on daily time frame. Okay, so एक बार आपने monthly time frame पे आपने ड्रॉ किया है तो you know that yes, this is the trend line I am waiting for. So you are not going to trade till the time you find a breakout out of this. Okay, so that is number one. Second, breakout होने के बाद it has to sustain. इसका मतलब है the price has to continue going up. अगर आपने एंट्री लिया हुआ है over here, so let me give you one example of entries over here. Suppose we are taking entry which is something like this. एक मान लो यहाँ पर एक green candle आती है and then there is a like a breakout here. Okay, तो ये अगर ये breakout है, so in that case the low of the breakout candle becomes your stop loss. Okay, low of the breakout candle. So breakout होने के बाद the price has to remain above this and continue remain above this. अगर आपको if you find that the price is coming below the breakout candle, then your stop loss is hit, better to exit. हो सकता है it might come back again to this level. Okay, so if you are a long-term investor, obviously you're going to wait for this trend line breakout. Okay, number one. Number two, if you think that you are a positional investor or positional trader, where you enter over here and exit over here. Okay, so one more time, we find that the price is coming here, you enter somewhere in this zone and exit when the price comes here. Okay, तो उसमें भी आपको 15-20% return मिल सकता है. Okay, so positional trader would work within the limits. Okay, within the limits का मतलब है या तो यहाँ से यहाँ पे खरीदा, यहाँ पे बेच दिया, यहाँ पे खरीदा, यहाँ पे बेच दिया. Okay, or else let's say यहाँ पे खरीदा, when the price again comes to the all-time high of 30 rupees, वहाँ पे बेच दिया. Okay, so someone buying here 25, there are two main resistances right now. One would be this trend line, and if this is crossed, this would be the next resistance. तो आप कौन हो उसके हिसाब से आपको डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा कि आपको क्या करना है. So if you are a positional trader, becomes little easier because your targets are small. If you are a long-term investor, तो आप you need to have criteria which would be taking you entry after this. क्योंकि लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर अगर आप हो तो आपको इस चक्की में फंसना नहीं है. ओके, यू वांट दैट देयर शुड बी अ ब्रेकआउट. सो ऑलवेज लुक आउट दैट ओनली इफ देयर इज अ ब्रेकआउट देन यू एंटर इफ यू आर अ लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर. अगर आप पोजिशनल इन्वेस्टर हो तो फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, बट लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर यू कैन टेक दिस. ओके, सो देयर इज अ ट्रेंड लाइन, देयर इज अ ट्रेंड लाइन ब्रेकआउट, एंटर आफ्टर द ब्रेकआउट, लो ऑफ द ब्रेकआउट कैंडल वुड बी योर स्टॉप लॉस. ठीक है, this would be your first target. If there is a resistance, you find that the price is coming down, probably you have to exit. So but if you still take from here to here, there could be a 10% return. 27 से अगर 30 rupees तक आता है तो 10-12% का आपको ROI and you can still get here. Okay, so this is I'm not taking any exit criteria now. Exit criteria we'll take in the next session. Okay, probably next week. तो आज सिर्फ एंट्री क्राइटेरिया दे रहे हैं. सो आज एक एंट्री क्राइटेरिया वुड बी, फर्स्ट इज गोइंग ऑन द मंथली टाइम फ्रेम एंड सीइंग व्हाट आर द टू टाइप्स ऑफ स्टॉक्स व्हिच यू आर गोइंग टू गो फॉर. नंबर वन, आई विल रिपीट, वेयर समथिंग व्हिच इज ऑलरेडी इन अप ट्रेंड, समथिंग लाइक इन्फोसिस. ओके, तो इन्फोसिस के जैसे स्टॉक है, आप देखते हो कि ऑलरेडी अप ट्रेंड में, बट फॉर दैट यू हैव टू गो एंड सी ऑन द मंथली टाइम फ्रेम. मंथली टाइम फ्रेम पे जाके आपको लाइन चार्ट देखो. ओके, गो एंड सी द लाइन चार्ट on monthly time frame and see how is the trend. So Infosys, what I find कि अगर मैं मंथली टाइम फ्रेम देख रहा हूँ ऑल द वे फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर, देन इट इज स्टिल इन एन अप ट्रेंड. ऑल्दो व्हाट आई फाइंड इज कि लास्ट मंथ देयर वाज लाइक अ बेरिश पियर्सिंग, लेकिन बेरिश पियर्सिंग के लिए अभी तक कुछ कंफर्मेशन नहीं आया है. ओके, सिर्फ एक इंडिकेशन आ गया. Confirmation would be if the monthly candle closes below this. Okay, so I've been telling since a long time कि ये जो IT sector है especially has been doing like too good to be true last so many months, right? So अगर 600 रुपए का stock within what 1.5 years, right? It has gone from 600, 700, 1.5 years, 1 year and maybe 7-8 months. अगर 600 रुपए से 1800 रुपया हो गया, मीन्स 200% रिटर्न इन जस्ट 1.5 years, a little less than 2 years. Okay, that is too good a return. Okay, so ऐसा too good a return अगर आता है, too good to be true, then you have to be careful. And if you find that there is any weakness on the highest time frame, then better to remain away from this stock for some time. Okay, so this has been quite volatile. अगर आप देखते हो, if you see the volatility, it gaps up and comes down, again gaps up, again yesterday there was a gap down. So it is trying to revive, okay, or trying to take support, but ye jo hai na, this is like a major support zone. So just a word of caution, IT stocks, see to it that you get a proper support and then you get an entry. Okay, यहाँ पे support मिल रहा है, advantage, there will be other side of the flip side of the coin is also other side of the coin, that if the price comes here you get it at a very small stop loss. Okay, तो अगर आपको इस सपोर्ट जोन पे आपको स्टॉक मिलता है तो आपका स्टॉप लॉस बहुत छोटा है, बट अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर स्टॉप लॉस छोटा है और आपने स्टॉप लॉस डिसाइड किया है, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है टू टेक द स्टॉप लॉस, व्हिच मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर नॉट टेकिंग. राइट, कि स्टॉप लॉस से डिसाइड किया लेकिन स्टॉप लॉस लेते नहीं, प्राइस नीचे आती है एंड देन यू होप दैट वन डे द प्राइस इज गोइंग टू गो बैक टू द सेम लेवल. Of course, stocks like Infosys, it is going to go up, but it may eat up some time value for you, and then your money might get stuck for some time. Okay, so जितना disciplined trade आप लोगे उतना अच्छा रहेगा. So coming back to the entries, so what we saw was in HDFC Bank. So HDFC Bank में जो हमने देखा था was where we saw that the entry would be where there is a breakout of the trend line. Okay, so the stock which we saw earlier was for Jain Irrigation. So Jain Irrigation में क्या था, which was the stock which was already correction हो गया था उसका, और हम लोग देख रहे थे कि शायद उसका, where is that? Okay, over here. So what we are seeing was that once this is broken out, that is the time when you're going to consider the entry, not till then. Okay, because काफी 5-6 महीने से ये sideways है, so you would obviously want this to be broken out. और ये अगर breakout होता है जिस दिन, then this would be like a flag and pole where the target can be quite high, almost like what 35 rupees after the breakout, and that would be like quite a lucrative, you can say from 45 to rupees 35, almost like what 80% returns on your investment, but after the breakout. Okay, ये ट्रेंड तो अच्छा है, लेकिन ब्रेकआउट के बाद अभी आप सोचोगे कि ये 35 रुपीज है, लेकिन if somebody might have entered here, this already 5-6 months have gone. Okay, but if you wait till the breakout, then the movement can be fast. Of course, you can always look at the other advanced indicators which I take, but not in level 1. I take it in level 2, where we take RSI, stochastic and all those. तो वो अगर आपको इंडिकेटर समझ में आता है, then you'll understand that those you can also take advantage while taking entries. So this was where the stock had come down, and now we'll take a stock which is already in an uptrend. So something like Reliance. Okay, so someone wanted to check on Reliance. So Reliance में मैं क्या करता हूँ? I see that first of all I go on the monthly time frame and I check out how is the trend. So what I find is the trend is in an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. Even this low after coming down, it is still giving a higher low only. Okay, तो भी मुझे entry कहाँ पे मिलेगा? So for entry, my entry is going to be on a classic pattern which I've been always telling, and that is your trend line breakout. Okay, तो ये एक trend line था which is a resistance trend line, downward sloping resistance trend line. Okay, so downward sloping resistance trend line are a classic entries. Okay, when the stock is on a monthly time frame already in uptrend और आपको एक downward sloping trend line breakout मिलता है. When there is a breakout, the stop loss is going to be low of the either the breakout candle or the earlier candle. Okay, so अगर 4 दिन पहले देखते हो तो 3 दिन पहले there was like a breakout, and 2 days the price did not it did not make much progress. कल यहाँ तक नीचे भी आई थी, then it again went back up till the end of the day. We'll have to see what happens on Monday, right? So what I find is that the trend is already जो downtrend जो था यहाँ से यहाँ, ये already break होके यहाँ पर एक there is a breakout out of this one. And weekly time frame अगर मैं देखता हूँ तो weekly time frame it is at the support. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's a very strong support here of 2300. Right, 2300 का एक strong support है. 2500 जाने का chances of obviously 2500 क्यों 2755 भी जाने का chances है. So again we are talking about chances. So if you are asking whether it can go for 2500, I would say why 2500? It can go to 2750 also. Okay, but only thing what we cannot say is when. क्यों? क्योंकि this is not a time instrument, this is a price instrument, price study है अपना पूरा, right? So if I find that this is a price study, then obviously no one can tell in how many months or how many days or how many weeks it's going to go to 2500 or 2750. ठीक है? So but still what I find is that this is on weekly, यहाँ पर support हो गया था, 1 week it was down, next week it did not go below that, and this week, the current week which ended yesterday, the inverted hammer का body के ऊपर price close हो गई. So I would still say that is a positive move for Reliance. Okay, so inverted hammer के नीचे अगर close होता था, then still it would be, I would be little bearish, because then what would have happened, that the price would have gone inside this trend line. तो अगर उस trend line के अंदर जाती थी obviously, then your stop loss would have been hit. So because the price is still within the within above that inverted hammer, I would still consider it as a good trend, good move as of now. Now if you look here, my stop loss is this. Okay, so anyone entering probably at this level also, okay, इस level पे अगर कोई enter करते हैं, तो let me see whether you are getting at least a 3:1 reward risk ratio. Okay, so you're almost getting a 3:1 reward ratio if you're considering the price again moving up to almost exact to 3, okay, 2.98. So anyone entering over here, okay, at 2375, 2377, this is your risk and this is your reward. So entries के लिए आपको अगर 3:1 reward risk ratio नहीं मिलता है, don't enter. Okay, leave it. 1:1 भी नहीं चाहिए, 2:1 भी नहीं चाहिए. अगर 3:1 reward risk ratio मिलता है तो ही हम देखेंगे, otherwise will not bother about taking an entry. Okay, so number one, that the price, so first criteria for the entries would be look at, understand who you are. अगर आप long term investor हो तो obviously go on monthly, weekly and see how is the trend. And second, what you have to see is see on the monthly, on your daily time frame, जब ये price एक trend line breakout करके बाहर आती है, okay, that would be one entry. Another entry based on trend line would be something where the price has corrected to a great extent, something like what had happened to Infosys. Okay, so if I go on Infosys in 2020, यहाँ पर Infosys, if you see, I'm drawing a support trend line. Okay, so the support trend line also can be drawn in this way, where the price is taking support at this level and going up, right? And on this particular month, March 2020, what happened was that the price came and took support at this. Okay, कहाँ से आ रहा है देखो ये trend line. It is coming all the way from 2009. 10-year-old, okay, 10 साल से जो trend line, support trend line आ रही थी, उसके पास support लिया and then the price went up. So this was in the range of 500 rupees. Okay, and today where is the price of Infosys? It is in 1700s. Okay, so like again 200% returns within what, less than 2 years. Okay, so another entry criteria would be where the price comes for a support. So first criteria we had seen where the price makes a breakout of the downward sloping trend line. That was number one. Second would be when the price comes for a support at a long term trend line. तो अगर ये आपने long term trend line draw किया है on the monthly or weekly time frame, और जब भी आप daily time frame पे जाते हो, so I'll go on this month which is February 2020 on daily time frame. Okay, so always draw the trend lines on the higher time frame. क्यों? क्योंकि हायर टाइम फ्रेम पे ड्रॉ किया तो एक आपका जो ट्रेंड लाइन है आपको लोअर टाइम फ्रेम्स में भी दिखेगा, एंड व्हेन द प्राइस कम्स नियर दैट ट्रेंड लाइन you may not be able to see that because it is something coming from the higher time frames. Okay, तभी जब भी when the price comes to that on that time on that near the trend line, that would be a time which would be giving you an entry. So I'm going to go on that date. Okay, 2020 03 and let us take 05. Okay, we're taking March 2020. So look at this. Can you see when the price was coming down like this? Okay, जब भी fall हो रहा था, okay, everything was coming down. Okay, आज का session कितना और another half an hour. So I'll be winding up with the revision and we'll be taking for another half an hour for the thing. Okay, this is an extra class. This is not a part of the regular courses, all of you. So just like an extra one which I'm taking just for revision. So from year to year, यहाँ पर ये जो हो रहा है, this would be when the price is coming down, and if you had already drawn this red line, okay, monthly में, तो देखो यहाँ पर जब ये आ गए, तो you would automatically see where is there's one red line which is coming, and then when you zoom out, and you see that this is coming from all the way from 10 years back. Okay, तो ऐसा जब भी support के पास price आती है, and it takes support, and I would call it not exactly like a this is not a morning star, but this is like a morning star. Okay, so support here, then morning star, and then price going up. Okay, so this would be another entry where the price comes at a support for a long term support. Okay, और यहाँ पर support लेते you get a indication confirmation, that is the time when you can enter. Okay, and one litmus test which I had given you, don't forget that litmus test, and that litmus test is for EMA above 5 EMA. Okay, 5 EMA के ऊपर अगर price close होती है, then that is going to be your litmus test. जब भी price जैसे morning star आ गया, indication आ गया, उसके बाद में price आपको on the day of entry, the price has to be above 5 EMA. So अगर 5 EMA के ऊपर नहीं है तो enter नहीं करना. Okay, so that is one criteria. 5 EMA price above 5 EMA, trend line breakout, and the third one was for supports. Okay, so we have seen these for your entry criteria. I'm not taking any other indicators right now because there are many other indicators which are on advanced indicators like stochastic, RSI, MACD, all those. But simple trades also, if you take those, are also really, really worth taking it, and you'll find that they go to great lengths. Okay, so like for this Infos, if you see it went up, and then from there onwards the trend changed and it continued going up. Okay, all the way, and now also will be somewhere around 1720. So for coming back to Reliance, so Reliance का अभी ये जो एक trend line breakout जैसे हुआ है recently, what do you find on the EMA? Can you see that the price is still above 5 EMA? During the day the price tried to go below 5 EMA, but by the end of the day the price made this thing where it was above, the close was above the 5 EMA, 5 EMA के ऊपर close हो गया. Okay, so I hope this entry criteria and trend lines are clear with everyone. And how was this session? Was this useful? Yes, no, super useful, whatever, you can just put in your chat. How did you like it? कुछ नया सीखा, or did you learn something new, or you had forgotten something? Yeah, learn new or good revision? What is it? Okay, great. Okay. So 5 EMA is basically a criteria. If you have forgotten, it is something where you're talking about the averages. Okay, so averages में यहाँ पर क्या होता है कि price 5 दिन का average के ऊपर अगर है, that means it is doing better than what is being doing since the last 5 days. Okay, and the 5 period I'm taking is the smallest this thing days period. और जैसे आपने मान लो आपका भी कोई performance है. Okay, let's say you had forgotten something, you had let's say your performance for your 10th standard, from first standard to 10th standard is let's say 60%, और जब भी आप 11th standard में गए वहां पे आपको 70% आ गया. ओके, सो यू कैन से ओके मेरे 10 साल का मेरा जो परफॉर्मेंस है या 5 साल का परफॉर्मेंस है, मान लो 5th स्टैंडर्ड और 6th स्टैंडर्ड टू 10th स्टैंडर्ड आपका 5 साल का परफॉर्मेंस है, वो 60% था. व्हेन यू केम टू 11th standard you got probably 70 or 75%. That means you are doing better than your own performance, right? So that is the concept of EMA, where the EMA is exponential moving average. The weightage is given to the latest data more than the earlier ones. So 5 दिन का अगर data है तो चौथा दिन 5वां दिन पे the weightage is given more and it is slightly better than only simple moving average. Okay, so ये जिसको मैं बोलता हूँ, it is like a litmus test where the price should be above 5 EMA on the day of your entry. Okay, so मान लो day of entry price is above, not below 5 EMA, then wait, probably the next day the price might go above 5 EMA. आपने एंट्री लिया 5 EMA के ऊपर, बाद में नीचे आ गया, that's okay, but आपका जो beginning है, that beginning is has to be good. Okay, it said that well begun is half done. So अगर आपका एंट्री गलत है, then कभी कभी होता है ना कि आपका एंट्री गलत हो गया, then everything else is also gets spoiled. So be careful about that. Take proper entry. See to it that you follow all these entry criteria. Plus, I have also given you the checklist, right? So checklist जरूर follow करो. Don't forget the checklist, because checklist में there's something within the checklist which will force you to go through everything, right? So you know, this I'm taking revision only for like level 1, where you're taking like EMAs, volumes, trend lines, supports, resistance, and all. But even those are like quite good. But if you keep the checklist in front of you, the chances of you missing out something are not there, because we cannot remember everything. Correct? सारी चीजें अपने दिमाग में नहीं रह सकती. तो जब भी आप कोई ट्रेंड आप चेकलिस्ट रखते हो, तो चेकलिस्ट में सामने दिखे ओके EMA देखना है, ओके I have to see the trend line, I have to see on the higher time frame, I have to see the 9 chart. So all those things will be checked automatically. And second thing, अगर आप लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टिंग के बारे में सोच रहे हो तो do at least your study 1 day prior. Okay, एक दिन 2 दिन पहले आप स्टडी करो, and then the day you want to invest, then you go the next day you go and take the trade. Don't do something like okay चलो आज मैं बैठता हूँ and then when the market starts you go and just try to enter. What will happen is your entries are going to be wrong, because you probably get entangled in the short term price movement. हो सकता है कि लॉन्ग टर्म में the price was, हो सकता है लॉन्ग टर्म में it is not so great, but suddenly because you might find some stocks going up crossing 3%, 5%, you might be tempted to buy those stocks. So best would be when you do the study 1 day or 2 days prior, decide what are the things which are going to be your entry criteria. जैसे रिलायंस है, रिलायंस ने अभी ट्रेंड लाइन तो ब्रेकआउट किया, लेकिन मान लो कल वापस रीटेस्ट कर ले आता है. Okay, so retest would be another criteria which you can note down. So we already seen the trend line at the supports, then the breakouts. One more last criteria which you can add would be for your retest of your trend lines. So sometimes the retests are even better than the trend line breakouts itself. Okay, जैसे यहाँ पर एक breakout हुआ है और उसके breakout होने के बाद क्या होता है कि sometimes the price comes down for retesting the same breakout levels. Okay, it can happen out of breakout out of the resistance, or it can happen of breakout of a downward sloping trend line also. जैसे ये breakout हुआ, फिर वापस यहाँ पर retest के लिए आती है price, and then you get a good candle, good support and confirmation, then this would be also a better time to enter. So one entry is here, second will be when there is a retest of the same trend line. Now out of the 10 stocks, 10 stocks अगर आप देखेंगे, when suddenly there is a spurt, out of the 10 stocks you'll find that almost 8 to 9 always come back to the same level. Okay, so don't never chase any stock. Chasing is something which you should avoid, and it will take you, the market is going to uh, teach you patience in different ways. Market is even a bigger teacher, right? So I can only tell you the things which I have learned, my own experiences. Whatever mistakes you would be probably making, I might have made them many times over. Okay, so I know what mistakes everyone is doing. ये सारी mistakes मैंने खुद ने भी किए हैं, and that's the reason why I can tell you that yes, these are the mistakes which you should be doing and try to avoid it. Okay, अगर avoid कर सको तो अच्छा है, अगर नहीं avoid किया तो at least मान लो एक बार किया, दो बार किया, and then at least reduce the number of mistakes in the same area, and that is how you're going to progress, right? And again, until the time you take your own trades, you will never get better at it. Okay, अगर mistakes करते हो चलेगा, initially छोटे छोटे mistakes करो चलेगा, because now we are talking about small entries probably, but later on, once you get more and more confidence, your trades increase, quantity increases, and the value increases. You don't want to make mistakes when your stakes are higher. जब भी आप लाखों रुपए में अगर invest करोगे, तभी आपको you don't want to bear that loss. So the discipline, the patience you can develop while trading in a smaller quantities. Okay, मान लो 5 quantities, 10 quantity, 100 quantity, छोटे छोटे trades ले रहे हो, वहां पर discipline आप follow करो. Okay, and that discipline, so when you're investing in hundreds and thousands, okay, you make mistakes, no problem. But when you go to the bigger amounts, okay, then your mistakes should reduce to a great extent. That's the reason initially अगर आप में कोई mistakes करते हैं ना, तो I said okay, do mistakes, no problem. Loss कितना होगा, hundreds होगा, few thousands होगा, but that is still okay. But because when you're talking about the huge potential of the market, okay, so the type of returns which you can get, I don't think anything can give, any industry can give this type of returns. So with this, I would thank you for attending this session, and I'll meet you soon in the next week, or if you're attending the Futures and Options program tomorrow, I'll see you there. And have a great weekend. This is once again Paresh Desai from Sankalp Venture. We have been live on YouTube. If you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe to this and comment it and give a thumbs up to this. Okay, so I'll see you in the next session. Till then, goodbye.